This is Kat Day, and I'm here with Justin Canja, a new artist down at the Crossroads. Justin, tell me about your experience since you've started showing down in the Crossroads.
I think that showing down in the Crossroads it's been great. For whatever reason, it reminds me of some of the art districts back home in the Maryland, DC metro area. So I felt at home kind of right away. It's this like grungy start of an art area, and I'm really, really glad that has been like a late change in the area, or that I'm told. I'm glad I came in now because I don't know if I would have fit in prior. But it's been great. I think my work has definitely caused a little ripple with other people, especially showing next to them, because it's not necessarily your everyday work. It's nice. I think I always say that if somebody stops and sees my work and is inspired by it or repulsed by it, I did fine either way. If they pass it and they don't have an opinion, or it's just a ho-hum moment, then I didn't do my job. So it's been good, especially with the live painting.
In your first month, you sold 7 paintings at your first show at the Mod Gallery in Space. What was that like?
It was good. It was definitely surprising. I don't know if it's because I was a new face in a familiar gallery. I don't know if it was because I commandeered literally every person that walked through the gallery, talked them into submission, which is kind of my specialty. But no, it was really surprising, and it actually gave me a super big boost of confidence after I haven't had much luck with some of the other galleries that I've gone to. Mod just happened to be like the perfect mix of alternative and can I cuss? Okay, cool. And not giving a fuck, kind of, because quite honestly, if your work is out there and uncensored, then you need an uncensored gallery, and that understands and will hold you accountable to an extent. You can't go crazy, but who likes crazy in their gallery? I try to be the good kind of crazy.
First, let's talk about what style do you call the work that you do?
Pop expressionism, and I hate to be that artist that's like, oh well, I'm out of the box, so I'm gonna coin my own terminology. It's quite literally pop culture references, icons, historical references done in a super expressive style, I would say. I like to pull a lot of influences from the 80s pop culture titans like Lichtenstein and Warhol, Basquiat, but I smash them all together. And then I have some of my personal favorites, like Anselm Kiefer, that is all about using an emotional attachment to objects for texture in his paintings. He's still alive, and I think he's probably the only artist that I kind of fallen in love with that's contemporary, still alive, and then I found walking through an art gallery in DC. My main objective is to literally take all influences at one time and put them on one canvas. So it's not so obvious that it was one influence. So
when you first started showing down at the Mod, you were working a full-time job. Now you have gone solo artiste. What's it been like?
It's a roller coaster. Anyone that has this idea in their head that, I'm going to be a full-time artist, I'm going to, go drop everything that I have and, live that bohemian lifestyle because, I've seen or I've read about, or I've gone to school and these people have done it, I could do it. No, you got to mentally prepare yourself for the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs, and your job as an artist is to go middle of the road. If you literally put all your eggs in a basket and you don't have rent money for the next month, that's kind of your fault. You got to save every single nickel and dime that you have and be businesslike about it. And I know that art school doesn't necessarily teach you, hey, all of your proceeds that you get, 30% gets reinvested in your work. It's not 100%. You can't gamble that. So thankfully, this is my second time out doing it. So every dollar that I have, if I say I'm poor, it's quite literally in this box that is marked rent for the next 3 months, do not touch, and then the other box is tax just in case they come after you, you know what I mean? And then put that away and forget that it ever exists, and then you have your savings. So quite honestly, you're gonna live, and I say you generally, if you ever want to do this, you're gonna live like hand to mouth, and that is okay if you're okay with it, and you could step away from a lifestyle that you're used to. You gotta be careful with your money.
What do you think about the Crossroads compared to other art areas that you've shown in across the country?
The Crossroads is interesting. It's like a red light district almost. No joke. It really is, because you could be in like historical KC and then all of a sudden you're on this block and it's like, where am I? Do I need to roll up my windows? And no, it's quite literally culture exploded. And that's what an area needs that isn't used to art in that way. That presence is like that anti-authority-esque. And I'm gonna put that in esque because, you know, everyone here is like really legit with their business practices. But it's a place where if you want to be yourself despite who you are, you're gonna feel comfortable there, you know.
Have you read the article that I wrote, Visionaries and Artists Meet at the Kansas City Crossroads Arts District?
I haven't, because I wasn't in it, I don't think. But I will. It's one of those things where, going back to the artist thing, the biggest issue with going full time is admitting to yourself that you're good enough to do it. You're gonna have it all the time. You're gonna question yourself. Cat kicked my ass a few hundred times to get my ass out of bed and to roll to the gallery, no matter how I am or mentally feeling that the work is there, and you gotta do it because it's your job. And you know, it's people like Cat and like Jumpstart Art that quite honestly will set you in line. What was the question? Jesus, it's gonna happen again.
How familiar are you with the history of the Crossroads?
I've been getting an earful, whether I want to or not, from people that have been showing in the Crossroads forever. You know, Richard gave a dissertation, same thing with Craig, about what it was prior and what the known like art districts were and what they are now. It's grassroots. It is the train you want to jump on if you want a legitimate name for yourself. What the arts district was and what it is now, I think it's a beautiful thing. So, you know, jump on.
Right. Your last few months showing down at the mod, how have they been?
It's been interesting. Obviously with the pandemic still happening and taking the leap of faith to being a full-time artist during a pandemic is like, it sounds cuckoo, it sounds crazy. But the thing is that the people that do go to an art gallery on a Friday night for fun, you pull people that are interested in art, being around art, and potentially purchasing art. If I didn't have the gift of flapping my jaw, I don't think I'd make as much as I do. And it shouldn't be the end result to make money, but ultimately, if you just put your mind towards talking with people, answering questions about your own work, and then educating them about what art is and where it's going, you're advertising yourself and what you do and what art stands for. So people around me may not have done as well, but I honestly, I work hard as anything. Like the minute I'm in that gallery, I have punched a card, time stamped, and like I'm at work. I'll be smiling, I'll be outgoing, and if you have stopped by Mod, I am the dude that's like stopping up everyone at the front of the gallery because I'm live painting. I put everything on the table when I show there, to the point where I don't think people really get or understand that if you put that much energy towards something and then you're talking that much, it's kind of a persona. And I know it sounds like bullshit when I say that whenever I'm out there live painting and talking with people, it's a little performance art, but ask anyone that has known me prior, I freak out before a show, every show. And every show, Cat's laughing. Every show, I think last month or the month before that, I literally texted Cat and was like, I'm not going, I don't care. And the minute I pulled up, I was still in a bad mood. I opened the door, saw the first people, and a smile slapped up on my face, and brought my work down. You would never know that I literally had a mental breakdown like 3 hours prior. I'm not even gonna say an hour prior, 3 hours prior. Because it is your job. It's your job, and that's your livelihood. It's not a game anymore when you leave your full-time job to do this, So another day at the office. Let's put it that way. Another day at the office.
What are your plans for the future now down in the Crossroads?
Now this is a you gotta develop a business plan if you're gonna show. You can't rely on like one place, one venue, one outlet of having your work out there. You got to look at places that match your aesthetic, So there's a few places I have in mind that I'm really aiming to try to get some work in there. But my ultimate goal is to find a few spots that love the work and that I personally see the work up there. And it just serves as like a billboard. Like it's not necessarily to even sell the work. It's just to have people that would be interested in your work after one piece or looking at one piece. And that's how it works, especially now in this day and age where quite literally you could have one piece of work and they Google you, and then all of these branches of information and where you post your art and where you sell your art and all of that, it's crucial. So exposure, but not in the sense of like commercial exposure. I'm not going to do commercials. I'm not going to do radio stations or advertise like that. Like it's grassroots type. And quite honestly, if I ever see a commercial for something like art wise, I raise an eyebrow at it. I'm like, who is embedding this idea that this is the art to purchase? So in a graffiti-esque kind of way, literally putting my stuff in as many places where I think the work would be best in, period. Making marks. That's my ultimate goal.
Before we go, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Art is something that is just built into me. Right now, I think I'm in this like state of mind where I'm trying to think straightforward that I could actually strive and potentially grab the most noted artist in the Kansas City area. That's really, really pompous, but if you don't think like that, you'll never go anywhere. You really will not. And I'm pushing an aesthetic that isn't everyone's cup of tea. But at the same time, who thought that dots on a painting that ended up being Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck would go anywhere? Or someone dripping paint onto a blank canvas and calling it like really in-depth cerebral art. Who would have put that on their wall when at the time it was like landscapes and realism and, you know, expressionism, abstract expressionism in like this, you know, Calder-esque kind of way where it's all color blocked, and where people like Picasso were quite literally this outside of the box, let's see if I can make a piece by like 3 lines. 3 lines. Mine is not 3 lines, it's 3,000, 3 million lines. And for anyone that's ever felt a moment of clarity amongst chaos, you might like my stuff. And I plan to push that aesthetic forward until I can't any longer, for as long as I can.
Who are you and where can people find you?
I'm Paper Monkey. Paper, capital P, no space, Monkey, capital M. You could currently find me on Instagram. I've been really working hard on launching my website. One of the things that I just recently spoke to my cohorts on making the website is having enough inventory backstock. So if for whatever odd reason it launches and everything sells in the month, what do I have to go on? You know, it doesn't legitimize you any longer. So I have way too much that's going to be on that. So if I'm going to launch, I'm going to launch it right. But that'll be papermonkeyartstudios.com, and I'll blast it on all of my social media platforms, and it'll tie into it. So it'll be great because a lot of people ask for work, and right now I'm only showing at one place, but I'll be everywhere. Annoyingly so. So much so that if you see the work, you're gonna go, what's that? Oh, that mess is Justin's. Paper Monkey. That's Paper Monkey over there. So look out. If you see some crazy collaged, technicolored primary business on some canvas that doesn't look right, but then when you take a second glance, it's really great work, that's me.
All right. Thank you, Justin.
You're welcome.